Yes, we are live. Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Umola Idime, and I welcome you to the Swift Institute sessions where we have conversations on clarity, positioning, and advancements at the workplace. At the Swift Institute, we focus on one problem, and it is why competent professionals remain unrecognized at their workplace and how, strategic positioning fills this particular gap. I'm not here alone tonight. I'm here with the co-founder of the Swift Institute to do justice to this amazing conversation we're about to have tonight. And no one than Mr. Chooks Gracious Maruka. Good evening, Mr. Gracious. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Good evening, David. Good to have you in board. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. And we have the honor of welcoming someone special, our guest speaker tonight, someone who has had, great experience at high level of educational pursuits, someone who has really contributed in terms of research. Tonight, I want us to welcome Dr. David Amilo. Good evening, Dr. David. How are you doing today?
Good evening, our esteemed host Victor, Sir Victor, and Bishop Chooks, our co-host. Thank you so much. Quite honored to be here. I'm excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome on board. Welcome on board. I'm so excited about the conversation we're about to have tonight because the truth is we are addressing a reality that many professionals, experience, with and just a few of them have words to be able to explain or express what we are talking about tonight. And this is the reality of it. You are doing the work, you are delivering the results. But it just so happens that whenever it's time for promotion, whenever it's time for, advancement, whenever it's time for visibility, it just happens to go somewhere else. And at the Swift Institute, we define this gap as the distance between effort and your promotion. And tonight, we're not just here to discuss this problem, we're going to break it down into clarity and what a team we have on board to do justice to that. Welcome on board once again, Dr. David. Dr. David is an assistant professor at the Near East University, an assistant professor of mathematics who comes on board with great experience when it comes to leadership, when it comes to, decisions that have to do with visibility, decisions that have to do with advancement at work. And I just want to urge everyone who is listening to us tonight to get your friends on board, get your family on board, get colleagues on board, because this might just be what you need to get that advancement you've been waiting for. Dr. David, once again, I want to say welcome on board. And it's a great honor to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome. I think it's good for us to start on this note. From your experience, I want you to start, I want you to share with us what is it exactly that professionals misunderstand about advancements or promotion at work? What's the missing piece for them?
Okay. First of all, once again, I'd like to thank you, the hosts, and then the co-host, for having me at the Swift Institute. Um, there is one truth that is not being resounded as loud as possible. In terms of promotion, the problem is not your work. The problem is the perception of the work. And up until now, there are several idiosyncrasies that all you have to do is put in the work and work harder and work even harder. But let me just put it straight. Effort without visibility is simply an expensive silence, an expensive silence that no one is willing to afford. And, there are some basic key factors as regards to promotion. And some of these key factors that is being looked out for. Number one is the measure of value of the organization. That is the organization's measure of value. And another one would be the who sees the efforts and the value that you create at the time that is being created. And thirdly, will be are you being perceived as ready for the next role? Do you look like your next role? You know, um, up until now, it has to be said as clear as possible that organizations promote perceived value and perceived impact. And most times it's not exactly the actual value and labor, but it's about their perception. It's about the perception. And think about this in perspective of a boss and his team. The boss is not being rewarded for how long his team members put in the efforts or how much labor they put in. He's being rewarded by literally the results and the impact that comes out as a result of teamwork. Yes. So, what exactly is the game changer? The game changer is simply one word that we have just said, and it is perception. And now, for clarity's sake, perception is not politics as people think it is. Perception is not politics, far from it. Perception is simply signals. Signals. And by signals, I'm talking about these three main signal. Number one signal is the one that a lot of high performers know, and that is results. Results is what you bring to the table, what the value you bring. And number two is reputation. Reputation. So what is being said of you in the room when you're not there? And thirdly is readiness. How that you are being perceived of being ready and you actually look like the next role. So a lot of high performers, they do and excel very well at the very first, which is about results. But they struggle so much, with readiness and the other. So I actually figured out that there is four major problems, four major costly um, um, things that high performers get to do. And I'll just quickly go about it. Number one there, I actually term it the head down heroes. The head down heroes. These are people who do all the great things, and then they think by how much work they put in that they will be recognized. But it doesn't actually happen that way. No, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, there are more dead heroes that are unknown than those that are alive that we are aware of. Yes. And secondly, there is one of the costly mistakes that high performers make. Secondly, is expecting and waiting for feedback. So you don't wait and expect feedback. You create opportunities such that the leadership are constantly in tune with your words and the feedbacks are being created because hope on its own is not a strategy. So you don't work on hope. And if you wait for annual reviews, it's going to be completely too late. Now, another costly mistake that high performers make is silent humility. Silent humility. So they say to themselves that, oh, I'm just going to do my work and I don't have to show off. There's no need to brag. And at the end of it, or hopefully I'm going to get recognition. But it doesn't happen that way. As a matter of fact, humility without visibility is simply career suicide. Let me say that again. Humility
Uh,
without visibility is career suicide. So real humility in the workplace is you ability to network with others, to share and to show genuine concern about others. Because literally people don't care about what you know until they know that you care. So that's how it works. And then the final costly mistake that high performers make is prioritizing mentors over sponsors. This is a very thin line that a lot of people are yet to differentiate. You know, we heard in the world that mentors, fathers, create feathers, and all of those quotes. This is really good, actually. Mentors will show you the way, they give you the directions, they give you the strategies. On the other hand, sponsors are the ones who put their reputation on the line. So they are with you in the battlefield. They are literally right there with you. So you need to prioritize sponsors over mentors. So, I'm a professor of mathematics, an assistant professor actually. So I would like to give the framework, the mathematical framework for promotion. Now, the mathematical promotion equation is simply 40% performance plus 40% perception plus 20% positioning. So a high performer gets promoted when his work ceases from being secrets and moves from being secrets to the testimonies in the mouths of the leadership. I love the Bible scripture because there's a lot of scriptures in the Bible. It says, let your light so shine before men. So it's a spiritual principle. You need to become visible. They need to see your light. They literally need to see what you do. And it's about optimality because, like I said, a lot of people think it's about working hard and keep working hard. And as they say double your work, double your hustle, as they put it. But that is not always the case. It's about balance. And think about in medical professional, he who decides to administer dosage to a patient, and he finally decides that okay, you're going to have to take 5 milligram of these drugs, and the patient decides to take 3 times as much of the dosage in quest of having a speedy recovery. What happens is that the patient overwhelms his immune system. So it's not about doubling your effort, doubling your hard work. No, it's about optimality. Optimality there is about the required measurements, the required value. So when you have that balance, the high performer would literally close the gap between where he is now and where he wants to be. I think I've actually said a lot, actually. So let me just hand it over to you. Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. David. That was so much inspiration in all the nuggets you're giving us. And I'm glad that we have a whole lot of people connected to this tonight. So you are actually inspiring the global audience on this. And we're so inspired. And we can thank you enough for being on this platform tonight. And I sincerely hope that some of our guests would put in practice every strategy that's coming from you. So we really appreciate it, sir. And going to the diagnostic aspect of why people are not visible, I want to ask you, sir, why does effort not translate to recognition? Because you were talking about people that think they have to double their hustle, they have to work hard and work hard. But there are people who will tell you tonight or wherever they're connected from based on their time, region, the time, they'll tell you, Dr. David, yeah, we're putting on this effort. But even though we're putting on this effort, we're not being recognized. So we want to know, Dr. David, from experience, you've been a career for quite a long time. You know, I follow you online. Like I follow you online. I see what you do. So I'm talking from a personal perspective. Please explain to us why does effort, people who put effort, why does it not translate into recognition? If I'm working hard, I'm putting more effort, it should show. So, but why is it that some of these professionals, they put a lot of effort, but it doesn't translate into recognition? Nobody even sees them. It seems as if the scenario of an elephant is working hard, but his reward is like that of an ant. It's nothing. So, sir, please, can you elaborate on this? Why does effort not translate to recognition naturally? Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, we already started discussing it. It's actually on the same limelight. You know, like I said, effort without visibility is simply an expensive silence. You know, so your work is not noticed, no matter how much effort you put, as long as it doesn't come to the limelight. You know, so nobody sees in secrets what you do. So you can be right there in the team, you can put in long hours, you can put in all the efforts, but as long as the right people do not see what you do at the right time, do not see the right things that you do, it remains a secret and it remains silent. So there is no way it can progress into the avenue of receiving the rewards that it should attract. You know, so the like I said earlier, the game changer is having them have a complete new perception about your work, clear perception about your work, and not about putting so much effort. So you can maintain optimality, that is just the required, that is necessary, but having the right eyes to see what you're doing at the right time. And then you reposition your value, you reposition your results in a way that it cuts across the vision of the organization. So you are right there, you know, wherever they're headed onto, your added value is actually in sync with the vision of the organization. So they literally have to see what you do. The moment your efforts moves from being a secret to becoming very obvious in the eyes of the leadership, and it becomes a story in their mouths, then that's the game changer. That's literally all that you need.
Thank you so much, Doc. In line with that, before you conclude that, I just want to throw a brief question so that you can tie up this together. I'm an IT specialist, okay? And in IT world, you know that already too, because I know you're a researcher. There's something that we call keywords. Keywords are what AI or algorithms uses to, if you type something on Google, you're looking for something, they check the keywords and they can report watching it. So now, sir, the question is, what signals do leaders look for? Because in IT, like I told you, there are keywords that these search engines or AI look for them to get you the feedback you're requesting for. You're telling us that we need to be visible so that our boss or directors or those who promote can see us and then get us promoted or get us to the level one. But I think they don't just generalize the search. There might be some things like, yeah, that's what I think from my own perspective as an IT professional. Yes. So, sir, please, can you elaborate on this? What signals do leaders look for so that our audience that are listening to us or looking at us, they will be like, okay, they need to apply this and this and this and this to their career so that they can be picked. Thank you, sir.
You know, there are major just three major signals that any professional need. Just major three signal. The number one signal that every professional need is, first of all, results. So they should be able to bring value to the table. This is the regular hard work. Of course, they should be hardworking. So they should be able to convert the hard work and high performance to results. Because at the end of the day, people want to see the output. They don't have an idea of what goes behind the scene, but what they see is all they know, and that's what they judge from. So, number one signal is that they should have good results. And number two signal is reputation, because there are a lot of people who have not met you, but they perceive you as high valued based on what was said in the room when you are not there, or when they looked out or they look up your story, they search you on the internet, they look out for your profiles, they check your works, you have some track records, integrity, but all of it falls down in reputation. So when you have results, number one signal, number two, you have reputation, then finally you should appear ready. You should be perceived as ready. You should look as though you are ready for the next role. In fact, you should look like the next role. There's the saying, they say, fake it until you make it. It actually real. So you actually, let's assume you're vying for maybe a managerial post, you begin to show leadership um, um, activities as though you're already a manager, leadership qualities as though you're already. So you actually become before you become. So that's the principle. Is the principle right there. So with these three signals, it's so easy with the results, with the reputation, and then with readiness. Their perceived value, readiness of you. That would be the game changer. Yes.
Well, that's powerful. Thank you. Victor, over to you.
Doc, thank you so much. It's been really mind-blowing session already. And I want to bring you back to that mathematical framework. That was fast, I want to say. And just that framework of 40% results, 40% perception, and 20% positioning. I would like us to just take a minute or two and still, get some oil out of that, because I think that is something that someone can hold away from here tonight and apply.
It's so
And
profound. That's my first time of hearing that. Like, that equation just blew my mind. I'm telling you, Victor, it blew my mind. So this is my first time of getting to hear this equation. So, doctor, please.
Absolutely. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. You actually said it. 40. You need that 40% results. You need the 40% perception, the 20% position. So by results, they see your high performance. They see what you bring to the table. By results, they see what you bring to the table. By perception, they actually see clearly the value that comes with your results. So it becomes clear for all of them to see. And then by positioning, you are actually integrating your results directly with the future and the vision of the company. Because it's not enough to produce good results. Is it in the direction the organization is interested in? For example, these are the times of artificial intelligence, AI. So almost the moment it started trending, almost every organization wanted to head on, get on it, and all of that. So think about the programmers who already had developed their skill as regards to AI. So whatever company that they are that are actually interested or seeing AI as the future, automatically the organization looks at them and perceive them as more highly valued as compared to those who are not skilled in AI. So it's as simple as that, but it actually diverse, and it depends on the organization as well. But the formula and the equation still holds. It still holds.
Thank you so much. Victor, over to you.
Your mic is off.
Your mic is muted, Victor. Your mic is muted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that valuable contribution. I want to talk more about the aspect of 20% positioning, because this under-leveled high performance we are talking about, they can be so head down doing what they are doing, and sometimes it's not in alignment with the goals of
With the vision.
organization. Obviously, they are doing some great job. They are putting in the work, but it's not in alignment. And the reason why I want to bring attention to this is because at the Swift Institute, positioning for us is a great, great thing. We believe that with clarity, you are advancing every day. And once you are working hard out of alignment with, the perceived, understand. Someone said something someday, said, if you are in a role in an organization, there is the idea that your bosses or the leadership have about that role. That is what they are looking at, not you. So in other words, there is a picture of what is expected of the contribution of your work to the overall success of the vision. So I would like us to still talk more about this positioning, because there are a lot of people who are walking out of line and they just don't know why. They are sweating, but they just don't know why. So just that positioning, I just want to talk about this. What is it that people are doing differently, that is getting them out of alignment, with the values or goals of the organization? What are high performers doing in this line, and how can they get it right now?
Victor, that's a nice question. Doc, I want to reframe that question somehow, because there was somebody that asked me this question like that should be 2 days ago. I want to put it this way. What invisible mistakes keep people stuck? Because we're talking about visibility, and you've told us the 20%, how to be visible. But these guys are making some mistakes, and those mistakes are invisible. Like they don't even know, they're blinded because of what Victor said. Their eyes are just focused on that stuff they are doing, and they're blinded to things they're supposed to do. So, Doc, in your wide experience, what invisible mistakes keeps these high performers stuck from being visible?
There are actually a couple of them, as we have already noted one of them, which is running very fast in the wrong direction. When you know where the organization is headed, clarity of your work is very easy. And beyond the organization, you need to have a global understanding of the shifts and the economies. Because when you have clarity in what is happening in the global world, you'll be 2 times ahead of even your organization. For example, I'll give you a clear example. My area in mathematics is actually mathematical modeling. So for a very long time, mathematical modeling was thriving on classical methods. And as time went on, it was gradually improved into a generalized method, which we call the fractional order dynamics. But as times progressed, I began to study the world, the economies, the civilization, and I saw the very importance of AI. And I saw this as far as 2020, because actually my thesis all the while was actually integrating neural network with fractional order models. So I saw this as an opportunity long ago, because I saw where the world was headed, and I now began to study. I studied so much so that I was able to develop a hybrid model that integrates both fractional order dynamics with artificial intelligence. And at the time I started it, there were not a lot of research around it at the time. And by the time I'm talking with you right now, I have actually gone so deep, so much so that when I had to search on DeepSeek and some AI, the millennial fathers of fractional order dynamics with artificial intelligence in healthcare, my name popped up. My name actually popped up. And
Oh, whoa.
yes, I did the study. I searched it on ChatGPT, I searched it on Grok, and then I wasn't surprised at the time. Not very long actually. One of the professors came from Saudi Arabia, and then he gave a seminar. He was talking about the future perspective of integrating intelligent hybrid models with fractional order dynamics. And when he was saying that, I was like, I am already in the future. That future was my past. I started already. And he talked about,
Hmm.
what's where we
Hmm.
are heading on to, where the research is already ongoing, but I was already way ahead. And so literally, high performers, they need to go beyond their organization. They need to look at the big picture. They need to know where the world is headed onto. They need to know in general. In fact, they need to be able to predict the future. As Trump would say, one of the major signs of intelligence is the ability to predict the future. So when they move out from their bubble and have a big picture and an eagle's eye, they can have more clarity, and such issues will be resolved very, very easily. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Doc, for that particular one. I think that's that's a no-brainer, of value to give, being ahead of the game and keeping your eye on the trends, global
Absolutely.
trends. That's really powerful. Sir, please, as we begin to round up already, I want to ask, tomorrow somebody is going to work, or just tonight somebody can be on his bed, wanting to relax and getting everything we are doing together into his mind. I want to ask, what should somebody do immediately who is listening to this conversation and wants to start converting, his hard work to advancement? What should that person do starting from this moment?
And
That's
before
yes.
Dr. David, I want you to tie it up with this question: what do the person need to stop doing too?
Something.
So, Doc, I want you to sum it what we need to do, start doing immediately, and what we need to stop doing immediately.
First
Thank you,
of
sir.
all, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. First of all, it's the first step to take is to take action. Because knowledge not being used is no difference as ignorance. When you know something and you don't put it to work, there is no difference between you and one who is ignorant. So the first step is to take action. And taking action, you want to become visible. You want to be perceived as high valued, and not necessarily thinking in your mind as being high valued. So you want to move your hard labor, your hard work, from being secrets to the limelight. So some of the things that they should avoid, as some of the things I mentioned earlier, is that notion of humble silence. You just want to do everything. You don't want to brag. You believe that eventually you would be rewarded. No, you won't. So they need to step out of their comfort, and they need to avoid humble silence. Like I said earlier, humility without visibility is career suicide. So as much as possible, because visibility is not necessarily being everywhere. No, visibility is not really being everywhere. It's being at the right place at the right time, having the right people, seeing the right things. So it's well optimized, well orchestrated. So there are actually a couple of things that they need to avoid as well, and they need to stop being head down heroes. They need to keep their head up, not being head down heroes, because a lot of heroes have passed on and we did not realize that they are actually heroes. So they need to step out, they need to show themselves, they need to put out their work, and it keeps going. The list actually goes on and on and on and on and on. And so, of course, I think you can also add to that several things that they shouldn't do, and the things that they should avoid.
Thank you so much, Dr. David. If you permit me, Victor, I don't have anything to add. Like, Dr. David is so amazing. Like, I'm going to say it here. If you're on this platform tonight, know that we're going to have Dr. David over and over. Like, this is just a tip of the iceberg of what Dr. David has in stock for us. So we might even have a series with Dr. David. So if you're here tonight, you are so opportune to have a first-time experience with Dr. David, and you can as well affirm that Dr. David is a professional in what he does. So we are so privileged to have you, Dr. David, and I'm so glad that our session is being recorded, so we can go over and over in YouTube. You can hit us up in our YouTube channel, on our Facebook, on even our website, official website, theswiftinstitute.org. Everything we do here, we push it over to our platform so that you can go there and watch it over and over and get insight and insight. So, Dr. David, from my outside, I don't have anything to add and to appreciate you for being part of our podcast today, and to preempt you or heard that we're going to have you soonest again. Victor, over to you so that we can round up.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. David, for such a valuable session with you. And yes, we would love to have you again on a series that will be rolling on and on. As we have discussed tonight, we can see that exactly the gap is not a performance gap. It's a visibility gap. It's a perception gap, And these are exactly the kind of programs that we have at the Swift Institute. We have programs on clarity. We have programs on identity, on momentum that addresses this in a formal way. There's a little we can do here on this platform as we talk, but on our website you can see some of our programs and courses that you can enroll that can help you put on all of this to a stretch. Thank you so much, Dr. David, for joining us tonight. Mr. Chuks, it's always a great pleasure to host these sessions with you. As we all understand, clarity is not just understanding your work. It's about being seen correctly, like Dr. David talked about. It's about being positioned and positioning your value. I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who has joined us tonight. Thank you. It's been a great honor. I want to say thank you so much, everyone. Yes, last words from you, Dr. David, as we round up, please.
Oh, okay, my mic was off. So, last words I must say, sometimes genuinely you might do everything you think you are doing it right. You do possibly all you think that you can, but there is also a spiritual play. So I also encourage every one of us to let God be involved, because there are certain strategies and there's certain positioning and there's certain perceptions that can be spiritually induced. So I really welcome them to live above their mental cognition and have their spiritual capacity being literally being applied, and that can give them an edge in a world where everyone is fighting so hard to be intelligent. Yes, so it's my last words.
Thank you so much, Dr. David. Like they said, man is the spirit that has a soul that lives in the body. So it's in touch with what you're saying. And I want to tell everyone on this platform tonight, you can reach Dr. David via our website and our podcast. You can watch him. And you can also connect with Dr. David through his LinkedIn. You can type David Amilo, and he's all over there. You know, he's doing a great research work over there. So you can follow him up and hit him up, and you can connect with Dr. David. But on this platform, we always have Dr. David around, and it's a pleasure having all of us join us today. I see a couple of people that are on this platform and other ones are on our YouTube channel. We appreciate you, and we'd like to have feedback from you. After this session, you can go back to the YouTube channel and watch it and get more insight and ask us any question that you have in your mind, and we can refer it back to Dr. David, and we know that he will give you the answers that you require. Thank you, everybody. From here, I'll say bye-bye. Victor, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us tonight. At the Swift Institute, we believe that with clarity, you always have advancement, and these are the words that have been echoed tonight. Join us again, correct, same time next week on Thursday. And until then, take care of yourself and bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Dr. David. Thank you, Victor. Bye-bye.